So I've been turning the Odyssey into a card game, and the last playtest I did was slightly unreadable. It was a little boring as far as like conversation during gameplay. But I've found ways to fix that, hopefully, with this video. I have imported everything into Tabletop Simulator. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just a virtual way to load content and play any game you can imagine, right? So I've got my map, the suffering track, the two decks, all of that good stuff. I'm able to zoom in on things, on cards and whatnot, so they will be a lot more readable during the game. Um, and I'm doing this one by myself, so I can talk more through strategy without risk of revealing things to an opponent because it's just myself. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump directly into it. So let's see what we've got in our hand here. Okay, it's not an awful start, right? We've got, so 600 men lets me draw a card, right? So I can play that right off the bat, which I think is probably my best idea. So we'll just pop you there and then draw one. Boop. Make sure we flip you, which gives us food and drink. Crap, I can't play my other 600 men though, because I already played one this turn. Honestly, my best bet, and I can't play a Wrath either because I'm going first. Crap. My best bet is probably just Sheep Escape for now to move forward. And then I could also play Lotus Flower, so then Poseidon can't play any Wrath cards. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to Sheep Escape to the discard. I'll put discard there, which it costs 2, so we'll move up 2. We get to move up space. And then we'll do Lotus Flower for 5. So that's at 8. And then they won't be able to play any Wrath cards on their turn, which will be good for me. And Row's not really worth it yet with only one crew member, neither is food and drink. And then I don't need that this turn. Because I do have that, which is going to be good in my back pocket for next turn. So I think we'll just end it there. Now let's see what we're working with for Poseidon. No Wrath cards whatsoever. So we're going to start with Polites, right? Polites is a good play. We can search the deck for another crew, which we'll just go into a Polites. That's not bad. We'll shuffle, flip you. Okay, that's not bad. Now I'm thinking, we drew a Sweet Sleep. That's kind of entirely too frick, because that only activates when you draw it. So like I can't play that and use it because it's got a really good effect, but that's just useless if I don't. We're gonna play Telemachus. Go ahead and move ourselves one space forward for how much is that? 2 suffering. There we go. Windbag. To search our deck for either a Storm or Poseidon card, which only cost 1, which isn't bad. I'm thinking we're gonna want to search for just a regular Storm for now. Yeah, that makes the most sense in my head. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and play that immediately, which will move them back 2 spaces and kill one of the crew members, and that gives us 3 suffering back. So that puts us right back at 1. That's pretty solid. All right. Now that we're over here, let's get ourselves set up with that. I lose the suffering for the 600 men, which isn't great, but now I can draw 4 cards, which is nice at the start of my turn, which gives us, admittedly, not a bad hand. So I'm thinking we can Polites to search for a crew member, which will just, we'll do Eurylochus. I've got 2 Wrath cards, and my favorite sheep is a means to search for Wrath, so that's not a bad hand. by any means. So we'll do that. Put it right there. And then I think we're going to play food and drink. So, because I want that suffering back, and then it'll give us 2 to work with, which is good. But then we're also going to play row to move forward for each of these guys. So we'll go 1, 2. That's a good start. We'll hold on to you just in case, because I know the Poseidon deck has Calypso cards. And we'll sharpened club to get 4 back. 1, 2, 3. Wait, but I forgot to get the 3. Okay, so we'll be at 6. Okay. That's not a bad turn, I don't think. That's pretty solid. And then we'll end there, because I played a Wrath. So it's going to kill one of them. That's fine. Yeah, I'll just sacrifice instead of moving, because I'm on Cyclops Island, and I'm able to search my deck for 2 crew cards, and I can play them immediately without triggering their abilities. So we'll Polities, and probably, no, not Eurylicus. Eurylicus could be useful later. We'll 600 men, just as I think right now they're not the most useful things. What I'll do is I will Zeus's Thunder to search for Storm card. Storm right at the top. That's pretty good. Get out. Shuffle. Okay. Now we have Storm. And then I'm gonna play the Underworld to take the Windbag from the discard pile and play that immediately. So what's that? That's 2 7 suffering for the turn. Putting us at 8. That's a lot. But I want to search for a Poseidon card, because what we're going to do, Poseidon here, I'll bring him in my hand, has the ability, move 1 space forward for each storm card in your discard pile, which with this and this will be 2 spaces, which is a good solid start and a build up. And that just does a lot with the kill 2, move back 1, right? Yeah. No, sorry. Move 2, kill 1 crew member. That's pretty good. One of you dies regardless, and I take the suffering for that. I think I just sacrifice, take that suffering, and then move back again. But that's a good startup, because again, like last for Poseidon, we're on Cyclops Island, which is search for 2 cards and play them without triggering them. So I think that's going to be good. We'll do Eurylicus and Polites. It's not bad. Shuffle you up. Get you guys played. And then I get to draw 1 card. Athena is a solid pull. We probably will use that. I am going to play 600 men, because drawing a card is just a good idea. Betrayal is pretty solid. They do have a full crew mock-up right now. That's probably going to be the card we use for turn. We're also going to play Athena for 1 movement. Cost 3 suffering. 1. This is at 11. So we're getting, okay, we're over halfway on the suffering track, which is fine. But we're going to use Athena to search for a full speed ahead. Because what that's going to do, I'm going to play it immediately, but it's for 1, move forward 2 spaces. And that's going to put us right at the underworld, so that's halfway through the map. Could be a good move, because that would let me search my deck for a card. I could search for a row, which would cost me 6 for the turn, but puts me in a really high up position, and then I can worry, especially if I have 3 crew out. But then the problem becomes, if they play Calypso, I'm cooked. But I think that's worth it. I talked myself into the strategy. Oh, wait. No, 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 I don't want to do that. That's, no, 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 no. Because I just realized if he kills a bunch of my crew members, I'm done for. So that's not a good idea. So I think we leave it at this, and we play Betrayal to just kill all his crew members. Yep, that's the play there. So you all die. Jesus, take one suffering. Poseidon takes one suffering for each of those. 1, 2, 3. But he gets to search for 2 new ones. Polities. 600 men is fine, because that leaves us with plenty there. So we'll shuffle, flip, and I get to draw one for turn. Gonna have Siren Song. That's... Jeez, this is an awful, awful hand. Holy crap. I mean, we're gonna play Poseidon just for that slight advantage into there, just to get us close to where they are, because they're halfway, so it's almost tied. I'm gonna play Siren Song, because then at the very least, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get the 4 suffering back. Okay. And then I guess I'll just pass the turn. But that puts Polyphemus in an interesting position, because technically speaking, and this is actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna I'm gonna draw 1 card from Siren Song, and just sacrifice a crew member to do so, and take the suffering, which I already did. Which makes a lot of sense, because I have 1 in hand, I'm ready to bounce back from that. And then the Underworld lets me shuffle 3 cards from my discard pile back into my deck. So we'll probably go for Row, probably go for Food and Drink. We'll go for 600 men. I think that's a good, because like in my mind, Sheep Escape is useful, but I think having the crew as an extra draw just in case, because we're already getting we're already getting Row back, which is a heavy movement, so I think Sheep Escape becomes a little less useful in that scenario. So we'll go ahead and shuffle you all back in, and then draw 1 card, which gets us Polyphemus Toss. That's a great, because that's going to be 5 suffering back, so I can kind of play a lot this turn. Wait, can I win this turn? I think I can win this turn. Because if I go... Okay, let's go Eurylochus. Just to have full crew stocked up. And then we'll search for just another Polyphemus Toss, just to have it. And then we're also going to do Polyphemus to search for a sheep card, which will be Sheep Escape. Preferably another copy of Sheep Escape if it's in here. Yep, there we go. Okay, 2 copies of Sheep Escape. It's good to have in hand. Alright, that's pretty solid. And then, if I play Hermes for another 3 to search my deck for Row, I just won the game, because I can play Row for 3 to move forward 3 spaces, and then Sheep Escape for 2 to move forward 1 space. Boom. Wow, okay. That was a really solid few turns there. Felt really quick, though. So I might... Yeah, that was really quick. It was good. I think it played well. But that last turn was just a lot of movement from my end, and it could very easily have been that, like, things came together. I was drawn really well. I had all that search possibility that just led to good searches, and my wrath was pretty low. You know, I was playing very high value wrath card gain. I mean, Poseidon didn't do bad either. Probably, like, had I not had that turn, it would have definitely had a chance to catch up. All right, I'm probably gonna leave it at that. I figured I'd do another round, but this video is probably going to be about 15 minutes. I think that's a good amount of playtest time. It's not a bad length for a game by any means. I'm gonna have to keep messing with that though in personal playtests and see if maybe there's too many movement cards or maybe movement's too powerful. Um, or maybe I just need to make the Poseidon deck better because I had been messing with the Polyphemus deck a while ago. It's got a lot, um, like it's got a lot more specialized for it than Poseidon does. And so maybe I just need to mess around more with that. But no, I had fun. Um, Hopefully that was a lot more viewable and enjoyable than the first one. I will get better with time, I promise. I just need to practice more. That's what these are, right? It's practice for the game, practice for my production prowess. But yeah, that was fun, and I'll see you in the next playtest.